Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, and today I got this week's Formula 1 update, and there's something very quick I want to touch on first, and that is the fact that Mick Schumacher finally has a place in Formula 1 in 2023, and that is with none other than Mercedes. And around this time 10 years ago, there was another Schumacher leaving Mercedes, and of course, that was none other than his own dad, Michael Schumacher. So I'm very happy to see that Mick has found a place in Formula 1 for 23, and the fact that it is his dad's last Formula 1 team before his, of course, retirement at the end of the 2012 season, and his tragic accidents, of which we still don't know the outcome, really. We don't really know what's happened to Michael in the intervening years, because we kind of got some hints in the Netflix documentary, which has since been removed, by the way. Thanks, Netflix. But nothing really concrete. But, that said, I'm very happy to see Mick in Formula 1 still, of course. He isn't a full race driver. Of course, he may end up taking a similar role to Nick de Vries, who, of course, was able to sub in for Mercedes, McLaren, Williams, or Aston Martin if needed. So, say if something happens to one of those 8 drivers, God forbid, Mick will have to take over for them, much like Nick de Vries had to do for Alex Albon in Monza when he had complications after, I think it was an appendix removal. So that would be the only sort of situation that Mick would get to do a race this year, is if something happened to one of the 8 Mercedes-powered drivers. Again, hopefully nothing does happen, but that would be the only situation in which he does. But there's, of course, the mandatory FP1 session, which means that each team has to take a reserve or junior driver for an FP1 session at some point during the season, and they have to do at least one. So Mick will probably end up taking that for Mercedes, and possibly a couple of the other teams, like last year, because of course Nick de Vries did Mercedes, Aston Martin, and Williams. Yeah, but of course, just because he's a reserve driver this year doesn't mean that in 2024 he's stuck. This could potentially bring him back to the radars of some of the teams. Maybe not Haas, because, they just got rid of him. But he could end up going to another team, say, I don't know, Red Bull, Alpine. Hell, Ferrari may take him on, depending on what happens this year. Because, let's be honest, we all know we want to see this lad in a Ferrari. But for now, Mercedes will definitely do, because as I said, this was Michael Schumacher's final team in Formula 1, and I think seeing him in one of those would be emotional enough, especially if he copies his dad's helmet from back then. God help us all with not crying if that happens, because we all know we will. But now on to the main chunk of news from this week. Woo! Okay, the drivers have decided where they're going to stay next year, so the team principals have come out to play. Yep, this week we have had 4 major announcements team principal-wise, and it all started on Monday with, randomly, Jost Capito leaving Williams. Completely out of the blue, no indication whatsoever that was going to happen, it just went, boop, gone. No explanation given, just upped and left. So that kicked it off. Then the very next day, we had the announcement that Frédéric Vasseur had left Alfa Romeo. And then very, very shortly after that, we had the announcement that he was going to Ferrari to replace Mattia Binotto. About an hour after that, we had the announcement that Andreas Seidl was leaving McLaren to go become CEO of Sauber, but not team principal, so their team principal is still up in the air. Same goes for Williams, by the way. After Andreas Seidel's announcement, it was announced that Andrea Stella, his former right-hand man at McLaren, would be stepping up to take his position of team principal. So yeah, that's all happened this week in the space of like 24 hours. Yikes! Of course, that does still leave a couple of questions, more of, okay, who's taking over the Alfa Romeo team principal role? Who's taking over Williams? Because that's still up in the air. And is everyone else staying where they are? Because right now I don't know. A couple of teams have very much indicated in joke social media posts that, yeah, we're not doing anything, but you never know. Williams were pretty confident. Jost Capito was staying, but then, just gone. So, yeah. All the team principals seem in place for now, except Alfa Romeo and Williams, but we may want to keep our eyes on this one, just in case. But yeah, I don't really know what's happening now. I'm sure Andreas Seidel will put in a very good team principal for Sauber very soon. And Williams, God help them. Anyway, guys, that's going to do it for this week's Formula 1 news update. So please, like this video, subscribe to mine, Roxanne's, and Frost's YouTube channels. Their links are in the description, as always. My sub button is all the way down there. Yeah, that big black one, unless you already subscribed, then it's white. Thanks for that, by the way. I think I've got the colours right this time. I'm still getting used to it. Once you've done that too, please comment as well, because why the heck not? Oh yeah, and click all three of the bell icons to get all three stats for notifications. Just put that out there. Once you've done that too, please comment, because why the heck not? And let me know what you think of what's happened this week in Formula 1, because I'm so confused. I've completely lost track of everything right now. For all I know, all the team principals could have left. Ugh. It's chaos. It's complete chaos. Once you've done that too, please follow me on all my social medias. They're going to be in the link tree in the description. And below that, it's going to be Roxanne's website and Frost's Instagram. And lastly, please share this video with all of your friends so they can join the infinite loop of liking, subscribing, commenting, following, and sharing, and around and around and around that loop. I'll see you guys tomorrow with another video. Goodbye!